Well, hello everybody out there on YouTube. I'm Tom Kvichak and this is Tom's Trains and Things. And welcome to the channel. We are going to do a short live stream today. I'm going to tell you what I've been doing for the last 2 months. It's been a very eventful 2 months. I had a lot of things going on. We went to a lot of different places and we started back then around Easter time. I want to say hello to Reggie, William, Buck, and Sean. Glad you could make it. Okay, first thing I want to do is say thank you to everyone that's subscribed. I came up on a milestone not too long ago, about a week ago. Had 1 million views and a little bit over 6 million watch time minutes. So, yay. Thank you very much. So let's get going with this. I'm going to do this in alphabetical order of where we've been because I just copied everything down from the subdirectory on my computer of when I did all the videos. And the first place is Antique Automobile Collectors Association. That was in Hershey, PA. Now that is for automobiles, but they had a lot of great looking automobiles there from back in the 30s, the 40s, even earlier than that. I mean, most of them were Studebakers. But I don't fault them for that. But anyway, that is a really nice place. They had an O-scale layout there in the basement. It was pretty nice. It scared the hell out of me because they were on sensors. So when I went in there, it was running, and then all of a sudden it would stop, and then I'd move a little bit and came back on. But that is someplace that you'd like to go see if you're ever in the Hershey, Pennsylvania area. Next one is Alto Model Railroad Museum, and I just did a video on them yesterday. While I was there, they said they was going to close in July, but I looked on their Facebook page and they ended up closing in June the 5th. So they did it a little bit earlier than what they said they were. And it's near Hollidaysburg, which is a little south of Horseshoe Curve near Altoona. They're right down the road from Everett Railroad. When we went to Horseshoe Curve, we went to Everett Railroad right before that and took a ride on that railroad there, and I think I did a video about that last week. All these places that I'm talking about, I'm going to be doing a video on if I haven't done it already. Annapolis is where I was staying most of the time. My daughter lives right outside of Annapolis, and while we were there, we watched the Blue Angels. What else? We went to Rehoboth Beach and watched a lot of lacrosse and field hockey games because all my granddaughters play lacrosse and field hockey. They're on several teams, and my daughter's also a coach for them. And okay, from there, B&O Railroad Museum in Baltimore. We did a live stream from there, and that was pretty nice, and I'm going to do some more video on that. When we went there, I guess it was about 1.5 years ago around Christmas time. We toured the Roundhouse. It was really cold when we went there then, but we only went in the Roundhouse. We didn't see the back shop and everything else that was there, and that's what we did this time. And while I was doing the live stream, there was a guy sitting there that he's a volunteer. He was watching the live stream on a cell phone, and then he finally gave us a tour. So if you get a chance when you're done watching this, I'm going to tell you to watch a lot of other videos. Go ahead and watch that one on the B&O Railroad Museum. That was back in April, I think, when I did the live stream on there. So, hello. Let me see. I already said hello to Sean, Dwight, Timothy, and Mr. Dreaded 88. Okay, there we go. All right, now, after that, Cass Scenic Railroad. That is a place that you would want to go. I don't care how old you are, you got to go see that. It's really nice. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I got to warn you, there's no cell service in there because right next to it is Green Bank Telescope. It's one of those big telescopes, that radio telescopes, and they have a series of them. They have one real big one and a series of smaller ones around it. but it's in a quiet zone. So Cass Scenic Railroad, and even where we stayed 16 miles away up at Snowshoe Resort, and we still didn't have cell service up there. But anyway, Cass Scenic Railroad, I did one video on that, and that was just for the first 20 minutes of the ride to where we got up to Whitaker. And the whole ride was nearly 5 hours long. 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours up, and then we came back down, and then we stopped at Whitaker and had a break there, and then continued on back down. But that is one place that you want to see, and we'll probably end up going back there again, because when we got up onto Bald Knob, you're supposed to be able to see, you know, all over West Virginia and maybe even a little part of Virginia. Well, we barely got to see this far because it was raining almost the whole day. It wasn't raining when we got there, but when we started going up the mountain, it started raining, and by the time we got up to Bald Knob, we couldn't see a thing. But it was well worth the trip, and I probably will have about 2 more videos on that, and you're going to enjoy that. Okay, next one, we went back to Strasbourg. In fact, we were up there twice this year. And the first time we went to see the Choo Choo Barn, because that's one that we missed last year. And Choo Choo Barn has a really good O-scale layout there, and I'm going to do a video on that. We went back to Strasbourg a second time before we went to Hershey, PA. And what had happened, I did a live stream there, and I forgot to change the setting from private to public when I did it. So 2 hours later, I'm looking at the analytics on it, and I'm saying, why is nobody watching this yet? And then I looked at it and said private. So I goofed up there. It went out two hours after I did the live stream on it. So, but anyway, as we were leaving, we were taking some videos over there, and I wanted to go up the road a little bit and take the train coming back. I wanted to get a video coming back. And as I'm pulling out of the parking lot, I see this car coming across and pulling into the parking lot, and who was in there driving it? Roy Smith. So I went back and said hello to him, and you know, we talked for a little bit. Then we went, and I think I did I put the part of it on Facebook where the train was coming back. It's only like about less than a minute video, but it's on Facebook, and you can see my Facebook stuff. I think it's in the description. It's not in this description, but I'll have to put it in there if you watch later. I got a Facebook page where I have a lot of stuff on there. So that was Strasbourg. We also did some video around the Red Caboose Motel, so we're going to do some additional footage on our trip to Strasbourg. So where did we go next? Clifton Forge is the next one on the list, and that is in Clifton Forge. That's in Virginia, and we did that on our way home. We came back last Friday, a week ago, and we stopped in there, and it's an old C&O Railroad depot, and I want to thank Leo. I know Leo doesn't watch YouTube or anything like that. In fact, he spent about 10 minutes saying how much he hated to have his picture taken or video taken, and how many different times, in the newspaper and, and other things where, he saw his picture already because somebody took it and he didn't want it. But anyway, he took me on a tour all the way back where I never would have thought of going, underneath the overpass where they had some old equipment back there, and he gave me a grand tour of the place, and even when we went in the gift shop, he gave us some good prices on stuff in the gift shop too. One place that I kept on seeing I think it was on Facebook, was Cornerfield Museum, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. In fact, we were just driving and driving, and finally, the Google lady says turn down here on this road here, and going down this gravel road for about a mile, and then he has the cross buck and everything. But this guy has put it on himself. He built a building next to his house, and I guess it's maybe about 60, 70, 80 foot long, and he's got an O-scale layout in there. Now, when I went in there, I asked him if I could take some video, and he says, well, you could take some video, but make sure it's just real short. And when I finally went through the hobby shop and into where he had the layout, you can see the sign there, no videos. For what reason he doesn't want any videos taken of the place, I'm not sure, but I was taking some video with my cell phone, and the son came up and said, you can't take videos here. And I said, well, I talked to your dad, and he said I could take short ones. So he just stomped off. So anyway, we're going to have some on there. The videos are going to be short in segments, but we're going to have some of that. But that is a good place to go, Cornfield Museum. I'll put a link, whenever I have that one out, but it's in the middle of nowhere up towards Cleveland. And it was a really nice place to see. We spent some time there, and then we headed back over to Pennsylvania. I was going to go up to New England. We was going to go see my sister in Hartford, Connecticut, and then tour around up there, but my brother-in-law just had surgery and he wasn't feeling too good, so we scrapped that idea about going up to Connecticut. So we just spent some more time in Pennsylvania. That's when we went to Hershey and back to Strasburg, and we hit another place that I'll be doing in a little bit. It's further down on the list of in alphabetical order. But anyway, after Cornfield Museum, we went to Pittsburgh. My other sister lives in Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and we spent about three days there. I went to see a friend that I went to high school with. She had a crush on me when I was in high school, when I was dating somebody else. But I've always kept in touch with her. So I met up with her at the hot dog place that everybody always used to go to. And I don't know if you looked on Facebook, you'll see me with some hot dogs, with cheese dogs, really best hot dogs in the world. But anyway, when we was in Pittsburgh, we did a lot of rail fanning through Pittsburgh. And I grew up there, and I always had trains all around me, every day, because I lived in a community where the Monongahela River went all the way around. It was almost like a U shape around the communities. And U.S. Steel was there, Union Railroad was there, and you're going to hear a little bit about this on the next place that I visited. But while I lived there, I never thought of taking pictures. I had a camera when I was 10 years old, but it never dawned on me, since the railroads were around me all the time, and I saw trains going all the time, even when I was real small, steam locomotives on the Union Railroad yard for U.S. Steel. Never thought about taking any pictures or anything. And I was talking to this about the next place I went. I went to see DJ's Trains. And I spent a little bit over 4 hours there. I want to thank Debbie for being so patient, for sitting there with Sadie and listening to us talk about model railroads and life in Pittsburgh and growing up in the Pittsburgh area. But I just did a video on my trip to DJ's Trains, and that's all the video that I have of that place. Okay, Emporia, Virginia. This is where we stayed one night on the way up to Maryland, and I just got the train depot there in this really old building, and I don't have it on this computer here, but when I do a video of our travels in Virginia, I'll show it to you. But this is really beautiful looking old buildings that would look great on a model railroad. Okay, so our first stop was Georgia Railroad Museum in Savannah, and I did a live stream there, and I just did another video on it since I've been home. So you've seen everything that we have, well, everything that's good as far as a video goes. I have a lot more footage, but you know, it's just stuff that you know you might not want to see. But we had a really great time there. They let Sadie in there, so we was able to walk around with Sadie and tour the facility, and it's a really nice roundhouse and back shops and everything else. And they also have a children's museum there where they can play around in out of one building. There's no roof on it, but it's like down in where the basement of the building was, with arches all over the place, and they have this big old maze there for the children. So it's really nice. I mean, if you have a family and young kids and you want to go see the model railroad, you have the place right in the property where you could have your kids play around there in the museum. Hagerstown. We hit a bunch of places in Hagerstown. That's not too far from Annapolis where we were staying, so that was just a day trip. So we hit the Hagerstown Railroad Museum, which is basically a park. I guess the city of Hagerstown made a park out of it, and there was an old steam locomotive and, you know, an old depot. And I think I did the footage where Debbie took the video. And where'd she take the video? She's got this little Nikon Coolpix, and every time she takes the videos, I have to transfer over into a different format, because apparently my editing software doesn't do MOV videos anymore, so I have to put them in something and transform over. So, but anyway, it was her view of Hagerstown. Well, while we was there, and I'm really terrible with names, and I want to apologize if I don't remember, because I don't remember the guy's name that took me around, but he is one of my subscribers, and he says he watches all my videos and he likes the Arduino videos, and he was an electrical engineer or something like that, but he volunteers at the Hagerstown Museum. He took us through one of the layouts that they only open up for Christmas time. It's an O-scale layout, and I'll do a video on that one there. Also, on the second floor, they had another larger O-scale layout and an HO scale layout. And part of the HO scale layout you saw from what Debbie was doing. But he showed me around for, I'd say, better than an hour of some of the things that he did there. And, you know, he made his own turnouts, and he did extended turnouts on curves with fast tracks and O-scale. And he was working on them, and he had a lot of electronic stuff on there. And when I do the video on that one there, you're going to see, you know, some of the stuff that he does. And I really apologize. Even as we were driving away, I said to Debbie, "Do you remember what that guy's name was?" And she says, So, and I look back on Debbie's videos, because she was doing one of the small layouts in one of the rooms on the first floor when I was first talking to him, and I was seeing if I could catch his name on there, but I couldn't do it. So, you know, I don't know his name, and it's, you know, lost there forever until, you know, he chews me out when he comments on the video and says, you know, this is my name here. Okay, after Hagerstown, Harper's Ferry. Now, I know that you have seen black and white photos from up on a hill looking down into Harper's Ferry. There were many black and white photos looking down on the 3 railroad bridges. There's only one left now on the Harper's Ferry, and that was a significant part in the Civil War. I mean, there's still Amtrak service on there, and while we was there was still locomotives going through there, and they're nice tunnel too. And we walked across the bridge. Debbie had a little problem walking across the bridge. She has a fear of heights and walking over water and walking on bridges, but she made it. She held on to the chain link fence on the very inside of the walkway and walked all across the bridge over the river. So I want to give her some credit for that, because you know, she did that. Normally, you know, your spouse wouldn't do things like that for you, but she's a trooper there. But Harper's Ferry, this is an excellent place to go. And I want to say something else about it. It's a national park. And while and this is going, you know, ahead of myself because it's under S, but when I was at Steamtown, I bought a pass. If you're over 65, you can get a senior citizens pass for any national park. I think it was only $80, but you could take your whole carload through it. It's half price for camping also at any national park in the United States. So that's a pretty good deal. I got into Harper's Ferry, which was, I think, $15 a head. So that, you know, that right there, it's almost 2/5 of what it would be. Okay, one of the first places we got after we went to Annapolis was Northlands. Now that's in New Jersey, and it's a little bit out of the way. You know, we used Google. Now I put in no tolls, because one time when we were coming down through Orlando, it took us through all the toll roads on Orlando, and through Orlando, I don't know if you ever go through there, but I think every 3 miles you have to pull off to the side and pay another toll unless you got the Sun Pass. Well, we got tired of that, so I put in Google, you know, no tolls. But anyway, it would take us on all these back roads and everything all the way up through Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But the largest HO scale model railroad in the United States. And believe me, it is, because it took us about 3 hours to see the whole thing, is Northlands. I don't know if you ever heard of it. They have a YouTube channel. They also have a Facebook page. But it is well worth going. Now, if you're, how can I say that? If you're a rivet counter or something like that, you're not going to like it, because the scenery on there, as far as, you know, like on my scenery and everything, I like to do a lot of detail. The way this is done is to be viewed at a distance, so there's not a lot of detail in far away, but up close there's more detail, and he used like crepe paper and plaster, or paper towel and plaster, for all the scenery, and he did really good on the scenery. But what impressed me the most is the bridges that that were there. Excuse me. Every bridge on there, every trestle on there was scratch built. And some of them are like 20 foot tall from the top to the bottom. And I have a lot of footage from here. Like I said, we took, I think it was over 3 hours in this place to video everything. And you just go back and forth, and it's layered up on top of layers of things. And you just walk through these hallways all the way through it. And it is amazing. And I talked to one of the guys, because you have a bridge going over top of the scenery, and this guy that built this, he used mirrors everywhere to make everything look bigger. And when you talk about mirrors, you're talking about mirrors that are like 15 foot by 20 foot, that kind of dimension, like a whole room, that makes the area look a lot larger. But he had mirrors everywhere. But anyway, we're walking over top of the bridge. in the scenery down below. And one of the maintenance guys comes through, and I was talking to him about it. He says people were up there with their cell phones and they drop them down in there and, you know, put holes in the scenery, and that's what he was doing. He was working on the scenery, patching it up. But he says they get that a lot, and all through the place you see coins and everything, that people threw coins at the scenery. I don't know why they did that, but you know, like you put the coins in the fountains or stuff like that. Maybe they make a wish and say, "Hey, I want that locomotive right there." Everything was DC. They had 68 Track 2 transformers in the control panel. The guy showed me, you know, the control panel and everything. So, you know, it's very impressive. They need a lot of work. If you like to work, they were hiring too. So if you're up in the New Jersey area and you like trains, go to Northlands, because they're hiring and they need some help there, because they got in one of the areas we were going through there, and they had a locomotive that just went just squeaking the whole way through, and it was really annoying. So if you live up there, volunteer, or you know, put an application in for a job, because that, you know, they need the help and they're looking for help. Okay, Pittsburgh area rail fanning, I talked about that. Me and Debbie drove around everywhere. I mean, I lived there for 30 years until I moved out permanently. And I found places that I never knew about when I lived there originally. So we drove around all over the place. Okay, I want to thank Reggie Stroud. I mispronounced your name. You're in here. He took me on a tour of his model railroad club, and it was really amazing down in North Carolina. And after we went there, he was telling me about another place, Spencer, North Carolina, but we were already planning on going there, so I knew about that. But anyway, I will be doing a video on that, on his model railroad club. I was supposed to see him last year on our way back home, but Debbie got a call when we was on our way home and got news that one of her sisters passed away, so we didn't stop in to see him that year. So I made it a point to see him this year. We cut out a few places to go because of that, because I wanted to stop and see him. Okay, Roadside America. Now, this has an O scale layout in it. Now, it's not really to scale, because the buildings in there look like they should be G scale, but he has O scale through it. And there's a lot of tracks, but hardly anything running. It's more of a miniature wonderland is what it's advertised at, instead of a model railroad. But when we were at the place in Ohio, the Cornerfield Model Railroad Museum, this guy told me about it, and I've heard it before, but I've never been there, so we made it a point to go there, to Roadside America. And this is up past Harrisburg. It's between Harrisburg and Scranton, someplace on that interstate there. I can't remember what that interstate is, maybe 81 or something like that. But you can see it from the interstate. And it's not too far from Strasburg anyway. That's why after we went there, we went back down to Strasburg. But all of these ones, I'm going to be doing a video for all of these. Okay, now what Reggie told me about, and it was not too far from where we stayed when we went to see Reggie, is Spencer, North Carolina, and it's a transportation museum there. And that place is big. Let me see if I still got the papers. No, I put the papers away somewhere. But anyway, it was raining. And you had to walk. This, on my community tab, the last post I have on my community tab, I took a picture in the back shop, and you can see how big that place is. And I toured through there. They have everything. They got railroad stuff. They got automobiles. It's a transportation museum. They have airplanes in there. Then from there you go into the roundhouse, and the roundhouse is huge. And you go around, and first you have, you know, a bunch of steam locomotives, and then you have some diesel locomotives. Then you go a little bit further, and then you have a lot of different transportation stuff. They even had a replica of the Wright brothers plane in there, since it, you know, it is North Carolina. Jim McCann, yes, Spencer is an amazing place. I'd like to go back there. It was raining the whole time I was there. Debbie ended up staying in the car because they wouldn't let Sadie go on the property. So Debbie stayed there and walked Sadie around as much as she could, you know, between the raindrops. But that is a really great place, and I wish we had more time and it was sunny when we were there. And Reggie told me about a hobby shop across the street, but you know, when we was there, we stopped at the Circle K, got some gas, got a little something to nibble on, and forgot all about the hobby shop. And that's how it goes with everything. I missed a couple of places also, because on the way down to see Reggie, there was 2 places in Roanoke that I wanted to visit, and I just skipped those. And at Spencer, that was on our way home. So we were planning on going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, but because of the bad weather, it was just raining all over the South at that time. We just decided not to go to Chattanooga. We just, you know, headed home after that. Okay, now the big one, Steamtown. This was a 4-day weekend for us. And I want to thank Sparky 107. I'll just put another 107 at the end of my name for organizing this. We met a lot of YouTubers up there. A lot of them I can't remember their names. A lot of them I never knew before, but now I do, and I watch their videos. We had a great time up there. We went up there Thursday afternoon and got to take a trolley ride, and I got some video of the trolley ride. I haven't posted that yet. And then we met up in the restaurant Friday night. Yeah, Thursday night. And that's where I met a lot of YouTubers. I seen some familiar faces, a lot of familiar faces, and then there was other people there that I never seen before, but I got to know. And there are some people that I can't remember their name, you know, because I'm bad with names. But I want to thank everybody that was there that recognized me. And I'm embarrassed because, you know, I didn't recognize a lot of the people there. And let me see, who else was there that I didn't recognize? I talked to him a little bit. John Dilly was there. And I talked to him a little bit in the roundhouse. And I want to apologize. I didn't think it was you, John Dilly. I thought you were somebody else. You look like somebody else, but I want to apologize for not talking to you longer. Okay, there was a lot of people there that we met, and I encourage you, if you get a chance to do a thing like this next year. I don't know if Sparky wants to do another one. He was talking about Strasbourg, thinking about Strasbourg. We'll see what that ends up like. But if you ever get a chance to go there, go ahead and do it. You meet a lot of nice people. And I met a lot of nice people there. And I want to thank everybody that I saw there. Okay, while we were all there, we also went to, I just did the Trolley Museum. Before we went down to Horseshoe Curve on the way down there, we went down to Everett Railroad. It's in Hollidaysburg. It's just a little bit south of Altoona, and we rode the steam locomotive there. And I want to thank Nathan Klein for telling me about that place, because when I started talking about going to Steamtown, he told me that he wasn't going to Horseshoe Curve. He was going down to that railroad. And I said that's a good idea to take a ride on a steam locomotive. And did I put anything out on that one? Everett? Yeah, I did put. I already did a video on Everett Railroad, and that's all the footage I have on that place. And then we went to Horseshoe Curve. I did a video on that. And while we was there, we was only there for about an hour, and I think we saw about 10 trains. And then the next day, and I didn't know about it at the time, but to get into Horseshoe Curve, go up there, you get a little wristband. You pay your 20 bucks to get up there. You can also get into Railroaders Memorial Museum with that same wristband. I didn't know that. We took it off, after we left Horseshoe Curve, and I think we threw it someplace. It was in the car someplace, but anyway, we went to the Railroaders Memorial Museum the next day, and we got the same thing, and they said, well, you could also go to Horseshoe Curve with the same wristband. I thought, we threw away it's someplace in the car. But anyway, the Railroaders Memorial Museum, we're going to have a video on that also, and that is another place to go see. And one place that we forgot to go when we was there, I got it written down here someplace. After we went to the museum, we went down a couple of blocks past the pipe place, and along the railroad tracks, and took some videos down there. There's a really big yard there. That's the one that leads up to Horseshoe Curve. And across the street from where we were was Schaefer's Full Steam Ahead. And I had that on my list to go see, but I forgot to go there. Who knew? There's a lot of places that, I forgot to go. I had written down, but, we passed right by them and stuff like that. But anyway, where are we? Our Steamtown, Everett, Horseshoe Curve, Railroad Museum, Altoona Yard. Okay, that was the end of the weekend, and on the way back we went to Cumberland, Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. And this is the problem with a lot of the places. If you're going to go see the museums and stuff like that, they're only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're only confined to those 3 days to see them. Some of them are open during the week, but you have to search really hard to find something that's open during the week. But most of the places that we went that I wanted to go see were only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this Cumberland Scenic Railroad, they have an excursion between Cumberland and Frostburg, but they only do it on the weekend, and we got there on Monday. So, but they did have ride the diesel. I think it was $645 you pay to operate a diesel locomotive, but it's like at 8 o'clock in the morning you have to do it. But that's one thing that if you ever had a dream of driving a locomotive, you could do it there in Cumberland, Maryland, at the Cumberland Scenic Railroad, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Another place we went to on the way up was Suffolk, Virginia. Now, this is one place that was open. It was a little railroad museum that was open during the week, and because all the other places that I wanted to go to were closed during the week. So we went to Suffolk, Virginia. Now it's a little depot, and I'm going to do a video on that. But they had everything there for Planters peanuts, because it's a big peanut place around there. Okay. Thomas Viaduct. Now, I did a video on that, and that was amazing. I lived in that area for 20 years and never knew about it. My daughter told me about it. So, and she's not even a rail fan. And that's just like up in Pennsylvania. I had the railroads all the way. I even worked on a railroad, and I took pictures. I had a really nice camera. I even developed my own pictures, And I didn't even think about taking pictures while I was working on the railroad of the locomotives, the roundhouse, the operation. Never dawned on me because it was just like an everyday thing. I never knew rail fanning was a thing back then. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject a little bit. But Thomas Viaduct, we did a video on that one already. That's all the footage I have. I wish we would have been able to stay there longer, but let me see, it was on a Sunday, and we was on our way up to see my granddaughter's lacrosse game up in the north of Baltimore someplace. She played in a lot of tournaments anywhere up there. Okay, now I'm on the bottom of that, and I'm where many places we missed. Okay, there was a viaduct near Steamtown that we wanted to go to, and I talked to Dean Robertson before that, and I said I want to go up there, and we actually went to the trolley museum, and then we was planning on going up to that viaduct afterwards, but we took the trolley ride, and you know, after that it was just too late to go up there, so we just checked into the hotel. Anyway, what's the other one? Hobby Shop, the Schaefer's, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then there was 2 places in Roanoke, Virginia. Even though we was gone for 7 weeks, I still didn't hit all the places that I wanted to hit. Okay, now I got some more things here. Oh, okay. I learned a lot about the museums. Now, a lot of people are paid there, but I'd say the majority of people that are at the museums are volunteers. And I really didn't know that until I started talking to the people there, you know, at the Georgia Museum, at the B&O Museum. Actually, there was a guy that volunteers at the B&O Railroad Museum and also volunteers at the Hagerstown Railroad Museum, which is, I don't know, what, 40, 50 miles or maybe even more away. But he was at both places when I was there. I missed him at the B&O Railroad Museum. I said I was there yesterday, and he says, "Oh, I was working there, but I was working up in the offices." But you see a lot of people volunteering at these places, and these places won't stay open without the help of all the volunteers. It's amazing how many people volunteer at these places. And you know, that's just like the video that I did yesterday about the Alto Model Railroad Museum in it's near Hollidaysburg, but they just closed their doors because it was in a flea market building, and it was sold, and you know, they had to vacate because of the new owners. But you know, here's a model railroad club that's also a museum. They had so many different artifacts in there. If you have a chance, take a look at the video that I put out yesterday, Alto Model Railroaders Association. I put it out last night, and they're closing. They have to put everything in storage and find a new place. You know, it's a lot of places are having problems. They need money. They need your donations. They need your volunteer. If you have a skill, by all means, go and volunteer at these places because they really need the help. That's all I got to say about that. Just volunteer your work. Okay. What else do we have here? All right. I think I went through the whole list. Okay. Now, before I left, I had so many projects lined up. And that's on a different page here. Where is it at? But I think I had about 20 different things that I had to work on just from the list of when I did my 10,000 subscriber giveaway. One of the things about joining the giveaway was what would you like to see? And I have a whole list of things right there. That's just from the viewers. Now, there's a lot of other things that I said I was going to work on. We went to Metro Trains and Hobbies yesterday, and I picked up 5 pieces of flex track and 5 pieces of cork, because if you remember, I was going to build a module, and I asked people, if they had modules for a club, which standard did they go by, the Fremo or the NMRA standard, or did they just freelance it? But I'm going to be building a module. I picked up the first part of it right there, the tracks. I got to go down to Home Depot and pick up the lumber, and then I got to figure out where the hell am I going to put this thing, because I don't have any room here. I'm going to have to put it in a living room or something. Now, Debbie did say that I could put a layout in a living room and a dining room. So, I might take her up on that. She told me that I could cut down that wall back there. And after I started on, she says, I didn't really think that you were going to do it. So, anyway, I got a lot of work coming up on me. I don't know if you can see the stuff. Let me put on this other camera over here. Where are we at here? This one? Right back there is all my Arduino stuff that I still got to work on. And I haven't done anything on that for about 2 months. And there's a bunch of new stuff that I bought that I got in boxes down here. I don't have a camera to point down there, but anyway, on new stuff, on the Arduino, on DCC++, and doing Wi-Fi with Arduino, because a lot of people are using the new chip that has the Wi-Fi built into it, which makes it a lot easier. And there are ways that you could, well, I wouldn't say there are ways. Somebody developed a different way of doing the DCC++ that's on train board with the Wi-Fi, and it's still in development. And it's been going on for maybe about a year and a half now. That there's so many posts on there that I can't keep up with it all. I'm retired, and I still don't have enough time to read everything that I want to read and do everything that I want to do. There's just not enough time in the day. Maybe I'm just a slow reader, or I can't comprehend. But anyway, I got a lot of things to do, and just not enough time to do them. So that's what we're going to be working on, some of that Arduino stuff and some of the DCC++ stuff. And I had a couple of questions about DCC++, and people were using the Deke Robot motor shield, and they couldn't get it to work with JMRI. And I think their problem was, I know what one of the guys was, and he figured it out when he got a new power supply. He wasn't putting enough voltage into it, and once he put enough voltage into it, then his problem was solved. The other guy that had the same issue, which had the low amperage and it wouldn't read the locomotives through JMRI. I told him about the power supply, and he hasn't got one yet, but he was going on vacation, so I'll find out about it in a week. But keep those cards and letters coming. Send me the email if you have any issues with it. What else here? I'm on the wrong page. I'm back up here. I was going to do something else with the tortoise thing that I was working on. My mind is a blank now. What I've been working on 2 months ago, I can't remember a thing about it. But I got to get back into working mode. I'm still on vacation mode, I think. I don't know where my notes were on that. But anyway, I'm on vacation mode. It's getting slow. You know, it's slow to get going back into the routine that I was in before when I was trying to get things done. I'm doing it little by little, and I'm trying to get this place set up so I could do live streams, because I think I'm going to do some more live streams like this. Maybe not every week, but maybe once a month or maybe twice a month. Let me know what you think. If you think I should do more live streams, just put yes in the comments down there. I'm not ignoring you, but I have the comments on a laptop here, and it's so hard to see. Wait a minute. Let me put this other one on. Where is it? Boom, there. See, right there? There's the comments. And I can't see them things. But if I haven't said hi to you, I'm saying hi to you, to all of you right now. Thank you for stopping by. Let me see. I'll have to read all of these later, because like I said, I'm a slow reader. And I had something set up for this that I could put it on a lower third here. Say like this, you know, if you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, ding that bell. I don't have the ding the bell thing fixed yet. And you have to do a little bit more steps now, because they just increased it again. You have, not only do you have to ding that bell to be notified, but you have to go in on to another dialog box and check off how you want to be notified and when do you want to be notified, whether you want occasional notifications or all notifications. So you don't, you know, it's more than just dinging that bell. You got to do a couple of more steps on there. So YouTube's always changing things around, but that's what we got there. What's this other one here? Okay, now the big thing. Help support our efforts to provide you with quality videos and streams through Super Chat, Patreon, and PayPal. Oops, wrong one. You can see that? See that thing right there? Now, mostly everybody, according to analytics, is watching on a computer. So if you have a cell phone, just go up there and scan that thing, and that'll take you to my PayPal account. Oops, wrong one. And then this is for other videos. Check code for items seen on this channel. This is for my Amazon. Right there. So I want to thank everybody that's been buying stuff on my Amazon page, because every little bit helps. So I have a couple of other things on there. I bought this little thing right here, and it is amazing. It's X keys, and I got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 keys taken up already. I just got this thing a couple of days ago. Let me see. There we go. And I could, you know, do different things with this on the videos and on live streams. And what my mistake was, after figuring out everything that I want to put on there, 24 keys isn't enough. Because if I want to do extra stuff, because I got extra stuff, because I could even show this up here. What's this? Boom. This is what it was before. Okay, it didn't update. Okay, I wonder why it didn't update. Okay, but that shows this laptop right here, what's on the screen of the laptop. So I'm not sure why it didn't update. So it just shows the screen at the beginning. But I could do all kind of cute things on here. I could put this up here like that, and you could see that camera right there in a little pip window. And I got this other one right here that shows back that way. I bought some new software. It's called vMix. I was having so much trouble with OBS. OBS is a free software. And John Dilly, I talked about you earlier. Thank you for coming in. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I said I want to apologize because I didn't recognize you when I saw you in the roundhouse. I just said a few words to you when when a bunch of Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts were going through there. I didn't know that was you. I thought you were somebody else, and I want to apologize for not recognizing you. So, now what was I saying before? I was having so much trouble with OBS that I decided that I would get some different software for recording my stuff and for doing the live streams, and it is doing well. I think it looks pretty good here, and I got a pretty good internet connection. So, and while I was gone, the 2-year program that I was on with Xfinity expired, so my bill went up higher, so I got to renegotiate it. But I want to renegotiate it without the TV, and they don't have anything with it, and I'm afraid that they'll decrease my internet speeds if I go without the TVs, because we don't watch that much TV anyway, and you could always get it on Roku or what's the other? Oh, YouTube TV. YouTube TV went up to $49. It started out at $35. Should have got in on that when it started, but I didn't, because I still had a year left in Xfinity. But anyway, you just got home from work. Okay. All right. So, I'm winding down. It's getting almost to an hour right now. I don't want to go over an hour because I got to spend some time with Debbie. She gets a little mad if I spend too much time on the computer, and I spend way too much time on the computer. I say I'm working, but that doesn't go over too well with her. And then Sadie's starting to bark in there. Hello, Gary, Gaffa, John, Creative Rails. How you doing? Who else is on here? Hastings, BNSF. Sheller Crow, Sean McGee, Dwight Curley. Indian Head Valley Railroad. Not bad, huh? M&M Rails made it back. Hi, Mark. You came on early. All right, good deal. I'll get to read all of those later on. But we got a lot of catching up to do. I've been taking it easy for 2 months, and it's time to get back to work. So I got all them videos to catch up on, all the things that I said I was going to do before I got to go on vacation. This was like a once-in-a-lifetime vacation for us. We had a little bit of extra money to spend, so we decided, well, we better do it now while we still got the money, because I know it ain't going to get it later. So we did it now. Life's short, so if you have the chance to do anything, go out and do it. Don't wait. You might be gone sooner or later. And that's the problem with it. I got my 50-year class high school reunion coming up in September, and I looked on the website the other day, and saw all the people that passed away that I graduated with, and that hit hard. But think about something better than that. Life's short, so whenever you got a chance to do something, do it, because you never know when you're going to be gone. So I'll leave it at that. We're going on an hour. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I'll get to read these a little bit later and maybe comment on some of them. No one gets out alive. That's the truth. So thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it. I got some more videos coming out. I'll get them out as soon as I can. I got 30 more just from this trip, or even more than that. And then I got to get back to doing all this other stuff on model railroading. That module that I planned on doing, it's for a series on model railroading for beginners. So look for that. I still got to go out and buy a few things. So until the next time, we'll see you.
And you can't put up a fight in the misty light. Another day, like the mothers of Brazil find their way. We're all on our own, but you're the most beautiful I've ever known. You're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and you can't put up a fight in the misty light.